Good morning, everyone. The Texas Legislative Medal of Honor Committee meeting will now come to order, and the clerk will call the roll, please.
Chairman Menendez.
Present.
Chairwoman Vandepute.
Present.
General Nichols.
Present.
Carmen Chernyshek for Lieutenant Governor.
Present.
Frank Battle for the Speaker of the House.
Present. Quorum is present. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Texas Legislative Medal of Honor Committee, as defined in the Texas Government Code 431.131. I understand that there's someone here that would like to speak on behalf of the nomination for Major Audie Murphy. Is that correct? Please come forward and for the record state your name and who you represent, and then please proceed.
Good morning. My name is Denise Forstemer, and the family of Audie Murphy, a decorated World War II veteran, has asked me to please read a letter for the record. Audie Murphy came from humble origins to become not a decorated soldier, but our nation's most decorated soldier of World War II, earning an unprecedented 33 decorations, medals, and citations, many of which were awarded multiple times. He was further honored by the governments of France and Belgium. Former Secretary of State and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Colin Powell, reflecting on the legacy and combat accomplishments of Audie Murphy, stated, "There will never be another Audie Murphy." With little formal education, Audie rose from the enlisted rank of private to the grade of first lieutenant by the conclusion of the war and returned to Texas as a national icon. He continued his post-war military career as a member of the Texas National Guard and Army Reserve and retired with the rank of major. After the war, Audie Murphy became a best-selling author with his highly acclaimed memoirs, To Hell and Back. He assisted the U.S. Army in the production of a documentary in 1955 for The Big Picture, a popular U.S. Army series titled The 3rd Division in Korea. He later assisted the U.S. government for a second time in the 1960 documentary Broken Bridge that highlighted the dangers of the nuclear age and the Soviet missile threat at the height of the Cold War. For this service to our nation, he was awarded the U.S. Army Outstanding Civilian Service Medal. Audie Murphy was the shining example of an American patriot. He narrated several public service announcements for the U.S. Army Recruiting Command, as well as having been the first veteran to speak openly and honestly about the effects of post-traumatic stress disorder, with which he suffered his entire adult life. In doing so, he helped bring that issue to the national spotlight. That many of our veterans are receiving care for PTSD from the VA today is directly attributable to Audie Murphy and his openness when speaking on this issue in the early 1960s. Audie Murphy has previously been awarded many honors. He has been cited in the congressional record on numerous occasions. He has had schools, monuments, roads, a VA hospital, and numerous buildings on military bases named in his honor, and the Army today has the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club to honor its most distinguished enlisted soldiers. Audie Murphy has further received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and was inducted into the National Cowboy Hall of Fame. In 2000, he was honored with a commemorative U.S. postage stamp as part of the Distinguished Soldiers series. Furthermore, as I am sure the distinguished members of the committee know, his portrait hangs alongside other great Texans in the gallery of the legislature. He has been a shining example of devotion to duty and a symbol of the greatness of the American soldiers for 65 years, and his legacy continues to this day. Next month will mark the 42nd year of the passing of this great American. In today's society, where the word hero is bandied about and our children use sports stars as role models, it is only fitting and proper to once again remember the iconic heroism of Audie Murphy and perhaps give our school children a fresh look at a real hero, one who unselfishly time and again gave himself to our nation and who embodied the very spirit of America through the principled life he led. On behalf of the Murphy family and those Americans who well remember and often reflect upon his noble accomplishments, I ask for your consideration and support of the posthumous bestowal of the Texas Legislative Medal of Honor to Major Audie Leon Murphy. Respectfully, David Phillips. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Members, I want to thank you for your very difficult and genuine and straightforward deliberations that we just conducted. It almost seems unbelievable that Texas, the most recognized, heralded, awarded, commended hero that we have in armed forces, someone who was turned away from service for being too small, for being too diminutive, for being too young, has not been recognized by the Texas Legislative Medal of Honor, probably because of his great recognition. We're going to take a vote for a hero that no one can deny is the most recognized hero in the history of the state as far as his courage, his persistence in signing up when he was turned away, and that will be for Major Audie Murphy. And the chair would nominate that.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
Clerk will call the roll.
Chairman Menendez.
Aye.
Vice Chair Vandepute.
Aye.
General Nichols. Carmen Cernusek. Aye. Frank Battle.
Aye.
And the motion passes. On behalf of the members of this committee, I want to thank each and every one of you for your service to the state. I want to thank those of you in the audience for being here today. Members, any further business or questions to be addressed at this time? Not seeing any. The committee stands adjourned, subject to the chair.
He was the most decorated soldier of the greatest generation. We're talking about North Texas native Audie Murphy. He was honored with 33 international awards for his service in World War II. And it all happened before his 21st birthday. CBS 11's Bud Gillette reports today, though, the state of Texas did not award its highest military honor to Audie Murphy until this afternoon.
My grandpa used to hunt rabbits and just hang out with Audie Murphy.
It was a day everyone either knew stories about Audie Murphy or wanted their children to learn his story.
My great-grandfather was in World War II on both sides of my family, so I want them to see the importance of it.
It is the wartime service of Audie Murphy. Born in Hunt County and enlisted illegally at age 18, he nonetheless fought in Europe during World War II and in one famous encounter single-handedly held off 6 German tanks and 250 troops from a burned-out tank destroyer. He won the Congressional Medal of Honor. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas had previously bestowed its highest military honor on 10 other servicemen, but it wasn't until today that it brought it to Audie Murphy's only living sister. Governor Rick Perry called him an extraordinary human being.
The courage that he mustered, the reflection of the Texas values.
Nadine Murphy Loki accepted it with what was typical Murphy humility.
And I've always heard it said that you're not really dead until you're forgotten. So we don't want this to happen to our people that lost their lives, giving us our freedom.
Farmersville decided a long time ago it was not going to forget Audie Murphy. It hosts Audie Murphy Days here every June. Audie Murphy came home to be a movie star and horse breeder, but reportedly never shook off the effects of the war. He died in a small passenger plane crash in 1971. But his sister told me his story should be an inspiration to young people.
But I think they need to pick out something they want to be and stick with it and go with it.
Bud Gillette, CBS 11 News.